Yeah. We got PPR Division 4 tonight. We're looking forward to a great race. I'm a guest commentator tonight alongside PPR Venom. Venom, this is your first time in the booth, man. Are you looking forward to it?
I am very much looking forward to it. This is going to be an exciting race, I think, with a mixture of, I think there's 2 D2 races in here. Look to see how the D4 guys can handle the pressure.
Yeah, I recognize a lot of quick guys in here tonight. Give me my pipe. He's pretty quick with Gamer, Money Hustler.
Yep.
So yeah, man, the field is pretty stacked. We're here tonight at Spain. Very challenging track. It looks like we have a, let me go to the chat here, and we got a weather report coming in.
We need to get in chat. But currently on track right now, a lot of drivers are currently sitting on these soft tires, which do not last long. So I'm wondering what the strategy is here, because mediums to hard is the recommended one to do with a one-stop. So
yeah, so with it looks like we have a wet race. Father Corn coming in with the weather report, so give him a shout out. Right. So these guys are going to be on the soft tire, Venom, wet race. I imagine a lot of these guys have been on a wet setup. Wet setup is super critical and is a lot different than what these guys would probably run in the dry. We got Money Hustler here on an out lap right now. Is there anything you're looking forward to in the race?
Probably just the overtakes. I mean, Spain in the wet's going to be exciting. I mean, you have Sector 3, which is going to be probably the trickiest part of the track, because that exit off the final chicane is going to be key to making overtakes down that main straight.
Yeah, I agree. I think Spain is a very challenging track as far as overtaking in the dry. So the wet factor is going to bring a lot of different elements to overtaking, to tire management, to overall strategy. And we got Funky Cactus here in the booth with us as well, man. What's going on?
I like the introduction fact, man.
There you go.
I think you guys saw the message. Roman Grosjean.
There's a huge crash at the pit exit, the pit entrance.
Yeah, we got
Roman
Grosjean.
Disqualified.
Yeah, disqualified from the session, backing up on the pit lane. This game is extremely tough with penalties, extremely tough with just kind of weird bugs. So unfortunate for him, disqualified from the session, and he just kind of jumped right out in front of, looks like Grumpy Orange in the Red Bull.
Nitro has spun in Sector 3, coming out at turn 13. People are already making mistakes here, so this is going to be key.
Yeah, Nitro into the pit lane right now. We have the McLaren. Get Me My Pipe. Get Me My Pipe is a very quick driver. I've seen him in action. He's consistent. I'm looking to see a good result from him, and he goes fastest with a 116.7 on the medium tire. So already definitely punching above the belt there on the medium tire, showing these guys, hey, we got pace tonight.
I would agree with the pace of Pipe. He was in D3 with me and the other guys last season, so I would expect him to be fighting near the front. But I'm also expecting with the wet weather setups that you mentioned earlier, I would expect times not really breaking with the 115s at all. I would be surprised.
If it's a wet race, starting a wet race, might be going up.
Confirmed wet race from Corn.
Yeah, Corny confirming wet race. Funky Cactus, man, you bring up a lot of good points there. These guys who've already found trouble in qualifying are definitely want to get a banker lap in. And please, you guys jump in with feedback. You guys are tremendous racers yourselves. Funky, you found a lot of pace this year. What do you look for as far as the setup in the wet here for at Spain?
Pattern more down. The rain, if you get really quickly,
Yeah, finding traction in the wet is absolutely key. Staying online, and you also mentioned coming off track a little bit. Track limits here at Spain are they're very unforgiving. You can find yourself quickly picking up time penalties in the dry. Imagine these guys a little bit slower pace in the wet. Maybe don't need to contend with that, but it's definitely something you're going to want to watch in qualifying. As we see Sprightly pull off over there, looks like he invalidated his lap. And we have Night Shrimp coming in on a hot lap through the chicane here. And very important part of this track is to get a good run out of that chicane. Would you not agree, PPR Venom?
I would agree. Like I said with the wet weather, it's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super critical. Top end speed here, even with a dry setup, is going to be critical to putting in a slap. As we see McLaren there off the grass, is Quick Tongue 69. Nice little gamer tag right there. But he's on a hot lap
Coach
right now
has
on the medium.
Tired after turn 9 on the straight. I'm following with Night Shrimp. We'll see his instant, I think, here in a second.
Looks like he got caught out by that outside curb. Easy to lose a car. You get on that curb and it will unsettle the rear of the car, and you do have to fight a little bit of oversteer, especially as the car will unload coming over the top of that crest there. Didn't quite catch it on the stream, but
because I think also with those wet weather setups, you're going to be looking for a lot of stability, especially with turns 1 and 2, 7 and 8. You're going to be looking for stability through the fast left to right, so you're going to have that rear sucking out the whole time.
Absolutely. And yeah, fast purple second there, 116.2 on the soft tire. We have Quick Tongue coming around, and he's going to set a 119.3 on the game saying medium tire, and I believe he is. Money Hustler now starting
online.
And Money Hustler now coming around to start another quick lap here. Let's see what he does. Going through turn 1 there. Car looks extremely planted. We would expect that with these guys in the dry with a wet setup, running a bit more downforce. But still super critical that these guys do find speed here in quality. You do want to start up front, as you can lose a lot of time starting in the back of the pack. Funky, you started the back in PPR D1 this week, this past Tuesday. Can you tell us a little bit about what it means to come through the field here at Spain?
It's honestly quite scary. Really close to track, a lot of dirty air. Following with someone behind too close, you could go off track pretty easily. Starting from the back was kind of hard too, especially going on the main straight. There was a lot of people everywhere, and it's just honestly a pretty scary experience until you get that groove down.
Yeah, and Grumpy Orange going to come across the line right now. Looks like a decent lap. Let's see what he puts on the... Oh, actually, just starting his lap. That's weird.
Money has gone into the pits. He has aborted his flying lap.
So Money not opting to pit right now. 1 lap old soft tires. Interesting to see him come in. We got SF 1776 coming around. Current points leader right now. I recognize a lot of quick names at the top. SF, a very quick driver. Have raced with him in the past. Who are you guys keeping an eye on tonight as far as race contenders for the win and for a podium for those ever elusive max points for the championship standings?
I'm kind of looking at those D2 drivers, like I said earlier, since they're in here with them technically being faster drivers than the other drivers in this lobby. I would expect them to be pulling at the front here.
Yeah, 1776. Looks like he's on a pretty decent quick lap right now. Funky, anybody you got your eye out on tonight?
Honestly, it's eyes everywhere. It's race in the rain, so there could be a lot more underdogs. Like someone I'm seeing right now so in the top 3 is Fathercorn. 16 points. Oh, as he went off track. I believe. He's a really quick driver. We'll have to see it
And boosted GMC 14 goes fastest with a 116.2. Eclipse Night Shrimp there by 0.05 of a second. Looks like we got a Mercedes off.
That was Corn getting out of the way for his teammate coming through on the hot lap.
And Corn struggling there with overheated tire. Oh, and he's going to lose it. He's off in the gravel pit.
I have to say, this chicane right here turns, I think that is 11 to 12. That curve is going to be extremely potent in the rain. I think if anybody touches it, they're going to be spinning.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, Venom. You have to maximize the curbs here in Spain in the draw. Oh, Corny's into the pit wall. Did he DNF there?
All like, he's fine. He's good. He's still driving.
So very fortunate for Father Corn there. Raced with Corny for a few years now. Unlikely mistake from him. He's fortunate enough not to get any terminal damage there. Track's pretty quiet right now, boys. What are you thinking as far as a quality time here for D4? Looks like we got a low 16s. Anybody in the 15s?
Like I said earlier with those wet weather setups, I don't expect to break into the 15s at all. I think a 16.1 would be an extremely lucky fast lap here with wet setups.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We're watching Get Me My Pipe right now. He's coming through the 3rd sector, about to make his way through the chicane here. It looks very tight through there. Gets a nice... Oh, looks like he's going to bend in his lap.
Dives
He
right
is on
in
the
the
soft.
fence.
Might have picked up a little bit of wing damage there. Abandons his lap on the soft tire. Do you think he's maybe going to save a set for the race? Would you guys do that? Or are we chancing weather here for the duration being wet in general?
I would-
as Night Shrimp goes faster. Yeah,
Never mind.
We see Night Shrimp goes fastest with a 115.8. Our first gentleman into the 15s tonight. Night Shrimp, a very quick driver here. We can see that he has a pace. He's kind of said, hey boys, if you're going to for pole tonight, you're going to have to be in the 15s. Anybody you think that can get there quickly and challenge him with 3 minutes left in quality? Funky?
I'm not entirely sure because I feel like the D2 drivers are running a setup that they're probably using a lot more downforce because I think Night Shrimp's running a low one. Like for wet weather, I don't think it's low enough downforce if he's pushing in the 15s like that.
Downforce super critical in the wet. If you're racing tonight, Venom, what kind of wing settings are you looking at?
I'm probably looking what I usually do with my wing setups for the wet, which is a low front wing and a high rear wing, say like a 3.8 or a 2.7. Something with a lot of front, not enough front end downforce to overheat the tires and cause oversteer, but enough to keep the rear end planted.
Absolutely. See Gamer into the pits. Bronny Man 12. Let's see here. He's going to go ahead and cross the line. He improves, moves up to 5th. Not a dramatic increase, but you can see right there. 3rd down through about 8th place, only separated by 0.4 of a second. So the field here pretty tight despite the mix of drivers. And going back to your comment, Venom, 3.8, 4.8 wings, absolutely. I do know a couple guys in PPRD1 that even run 4.7 in the dry, so I imagine you looking for that rear stability. It's not unlikely to see something like a 4.8, maybe a 4.9, maybe a 5.9 for the maximum downforce here in the wet.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Sorry to barge in, but it looks like Money Hustard is on a crazy lap. I think he might crush Night Shrimp's lap.
Down
Line
4
down.
tenths, 5 tenths.
Wow. And looks like,
He was flying through it.
yeah, it looks like he might have lost a little bit of time there in the chicane in 3rd sector. That 3rd sector extremely technical. Funky, you know this. If you're making your way through the third sector quickly, what kind of elements are you looking to bring to your racing line and your overall technique?
For me personally, I mean, the third sector is just like uphill chicane, and after it's right hander. Um, it's honestly just you gotta just stay off the yellow parts of the curb. As long as you stay off those, I feel like you should have a perfect line through there. Once you get on the curb, it's like what Venom said. Even in the dry, sometimes if you get on the curb, you just go around and
Yeah, the curbs here not your friend, and we see Money Hustard coming on the backstretch, touched that curb, almost lost a bit of oversteer, corrected it, and looks like he has invalidated his lap, but he did look like he was going for another one. Boosted GMC on a hot lap right now. Looks like he's going to be starting his lap. You think he can challenge Night Shrimp here in the final minute of quali to get this lap in and maybe take pole for tonight's race? Quick tongue, 69.
Money Hustler has pitted.
Yeah, Money's in the
He's
pits.
not
Looks like he's going to set
for
the
hot
pit.
lap.
And Quick Tongue 69 improves his time. Low 117s, 079 moves up to 8th place. We have a McLaren coming around. Looks like Big Mr. Brown coming through the final chicane. Let's see what he can do. If he's going to be able to prove he is currently
It's down 4/10. See what that comes to.
down 4/10, and he's going to jump Quick Tongue there. Moves up to 8th. Not a dramatic move. We have Get Me My Pipe now, making his way through the penultimate corner.
Down 3/10.
Oh, wow, and he's going to go fastest.
Fastest lap.
Wow. 5,000ths of
Impressive.
a second by Get Me My Pipe, a 1:15.872. Tremendous lap there by him. And it looks like Bronny Man's going to abandon his lap, but we got a train. We got Bald Racing Guy, he's into the pits. Sprightly's into the pits. Man, we are loaded up. SF716. Oh, and Bronny Man's going to get in the way of his penultimate corner, his exit. Hopefully that doesn't mess him up. He goes 5th, though. I don't know, man. The stewards are probably going to want to take a look at that. 116.5 from him.
Another
Sorry, just think back to a comment you made earlier about saving a soft tire. I would only think to save a soft tire if there's that chance that a dry result in the race, but we don't know. We know there's a wet start. I'm not sure how long that weather goes, because it could dry out, which I would save a soft tire for, but if it doesn't, I would not recommend saving a soft tire.
Yeah, these guys burning through their soft tires here in quali. We got LDR Redeemer. A little scrappy lap. He did go purple sector 2. He's going to run a little bit wide on the entry into the chicane. Hops that curb. He's going to stay in this lap. Penultimate corner. Coming around the corner. He's going to take DRS. He's going to take a lot of curb there on the exit. Not going to improve his time. He's going to finish P6 at 1:15.5. It looks like we're done with quali, boys. Anything you're looking forward to in the race?
I'm just looking for a clean race, honestly. Yep, clean
race.
overtakes.
Yeah, you don't want to get damaged in that first couple of turns. Get the accordion effect. Guys bunch up, real easy to get. Wing and in the wet, you can lose a lot of time. Funky, what are your thoughts tonight?
I'm honestly looking for like a clean and good race. I feel like we're gonna have a pretty good battle for the lead. We have Night Shrimp and Get Me My Pipe separated by 5,000 of a second. Then we got GMC and Money Hustard, who looks pretty close to SF and Redeemer. It looks like we're gonna be seeing battles in 2 to 3.
Yeah, Money Hustard on an out lap, probably just trying to get a little bit of more practice in. But that's going to conclude our quali here. Grumpy Orange glitch in the game. If you got to retire, it's going to get this moving along here. Honestly, I'm looking at Give Me My Pipe. I've seen him race in other leagues. I've raced against him. He's a quick, consistent driver. Consistency in the rain, I think, is what wins this race, even if you're not the fastest guy. Night Shrimp, Boosted GMC, also quick guys. Money is showing his hand in races that I've seen with him where he can really, really conserve tires. And that's super critical, even in the wet, to conserve whether it's the inners or the wet. So I'm looking at Money to do that. Any dark horses, guys? Got people you think that are going to jump up and take advantage of the incline?
I have personally raced with Brownieman 12 in the past, especially last year. He is a super quick and consistent driver in the wet. I think we'll be seeing him move up positions tonight.
Yeah, Bronny Man, a very quick driver. Funky, anybody you got your eye on, you've raced with some of these guys tonight. Anybody that you think could jump up with the weather and take advantage of the conditions?
I think it could be either SF. SF's also a really quick driver, but we get to see how quickly he adapts to the rain. But the one that I have my eyes on is LDR Redeemer. He's usually when he gets his like groove on and everything, he can be really quick, as you saw in China D4. LD Redeemer was in the lead, but due to like a mistake that he had during his race, he lost the win.
Yeah, Redeemer, very quick driver. Looking forward to seeing what he can do in the wet here. I'm
Quick
going to take
note
a quick.
quickly. Quick Tongue has a 10-second position or 10 position grid penalty. He will be starting at the back of the grid.
Let's spice things up.
Yep.
Alright guys, we'll take a quick break for the formation lap and we'll see you at the 500 lights.
All right, I'm back. I had to take a quick second to get my phone charger so I can get the stream up. Oh, looks like we got the weather. It looks like we might have a moderate rain here.
Looks like a possible Inter's tire for now. I would, with how wet the track looks, probably see a dry period probably come towards the middle or end of the race.
Yeah, do we have any of the drivers in the chat saying that this race dries up at all? Anybody seen anything like that? It looks like we don't have anybody saying what the strategy might be or what conditions might look like, so we'll have to call this as this race unfolds. And it looks like session's going to start here pretty soon. We got a few guys still loading in.
Yeah, one thing I'm looking at right now is people are taking a lot of time to load. This could be due to the fact that they're trying to change the setup to more wet setup to the front wing and maybe changing the brake guys up a bit just to see if it might help them during the race.
Yeah, not a whole lot that you can do. I wish the game would allow you to adjust tire pressures. Those are super key and critical to a wet setup. Obviously, in real F1, the teams can adjust those tire pressures up until the start of the race. As we see the guys make their way on their formation lap, looks like we got Inter tires to start the race. Give me my pipes setting up pretty.
I would definitely look for a dry period here. Usually a full wet race usually starts on wet tires.
So, PPR Venom putting his money on a partially wet race. How do you decide, Venom, when to come in and put on those dry tires? Are you going off of Phil? Are you maybe listening to Jeff? What are you doing to decide when to come in?
I do a little bit of both. Usually I watch what drivers are doing around me for track position. There's your strategy. It might be a full wet race. But I usually see what the track looks like. If I'm noticing that the dry line is disappearing by lap by lap, I'm going to start considering going into the pits. I usually watch opponents around me. If I see one dive in, I'm usually going to dive in with them. And I also just listen to Jeff sometimes. Jeff sometimes makes a brilliant call late in the lap, and you're like, okay, come in, you come out, and the track's bone dry. So it really depends on the circumstances you're looking at here, but it's case by case usually.
Yeah, it's a lot of variables that comes into that. Personally, I'm definitely going off track fill. Usually the tires start overheating. That's a key indication. And it looks like AWS Web Services, Amazon Web Services, bringing us, it looks like the Inters for the duration of the race, showing us a one-stop strategy along with a two-stop if we stay on the Inters. Again, tire conservation, even with the wet tire, is going to be super critical as the guys start to line up And we are going to get lights out here pretty soon. PPR Division 4 Friday night. Looks like it's going to be an exciting race, gentlemen.
Do we think there will be any major gains off the grid? Do you think anybody will have a fantastic start here, or do we just think it will be 2x2 going into turn 1?
I think it's going to be super important to try to get appropriate track position, watch for an incident, and keep your space and be courteous. And it looks like we are ready to go here. And it looks like we're still waiting on the lights. No lights. Hopefully we do not have a broken.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there they are. 3, 4, 5.
5.
This light's out, and here we go. We're going racing tonight. D4 PPR. And it looks like everyone gets a pretty good start. Night Shrimp diving in behind Get Me My Pipe. They're going to fall in line. We got a little bit of 3-wide action with the Racing Points with Money Hustard, and we see the Mercedes of Redeemer on the inside there. The 2 Haas drivers. Oh, that's a little bit tight. We got Boosted GMC trying to make a move on Money Hustard. Oh, and a little bit of contact there. Boosted gets shoved wide. This is going to open the door for Redeemer to make it by. And we see Mercedes off in the grass there.
Oh,
we
no.
have
It's Redeemer.
Redeemer has lost a lot of traction there. Bronny Man making it through there. SF 1776 up to 4th place now. Money Hustard, the top 3 guys getting away quickly. You guys seeing anybody with any damage?
I am currently don't see anything, but I'm also getting just back shot. Here we go.
It's looking like the intervals are working tonight. Thank you, Cody's. We got almost half a second gap, 3/4 of a second now. Night Strip down by almost 8/10 to our leader, Get Me My Pipe. Looks very conservative in the wet. These guys are going to put in maybe a little bit of a discovery lap there as we see Amazon coming through again. And it looks like Night Strip's lost. He almost lost it coming over that crest there. The track can unsettle your car in the dry. Money's making a move up the inside. What do you think, Venom? And we see Money Hustard making it through the chicane there. He's made the move on Night Shrimp. Night Shrimp now sitting vulnerable, but looks like he gets a pretty good exit. SF 1776 behind him. See if these guys have speed down the straight, so give us an indication what kind of wings are in.
Night Trip, almost tried to fight it. Money Hustard got through. Night Trip got the back lane. It looks like Night Trip might be pretty low with that regular cut. We could do it now. We're not totally, me and Money Hustard. But we all know that he's in second.
Yeah, Night Ship extremely fast and quality. You gotta wonder if he maybe went with a little bit too much of dry ship. As we see SF make the move up the inside, a little bit of contact there as they bang wheels. Get Me My Pipe picked up a 3-second penalty not too long ago. We talked about that in quality as far as track limits go. That 3-second could play a factor later on in the race as we see Monty try to close the gap. But Get Me My Pipe opening up to a comfortable almost 2.5-second lead here through lap 2. And it looks like these guys are still trying to settle in. Night Shrimp still struggling massively with his setup here in the wet.
Yep, LEDR Redeemer has dropped far back to the grid after his pit stop, which I believe he had damage from what his actions told me. But biggest winners and losers appear to be most people made up a couple positions, including Money, SF.
Night Shrimp.
And Night Shrimp's around, and it looks like he might have collected a Haas there, a boosted GMC who's damage. Night Shrimp looking for a way back onto the track. You don't want to pull out in front of anybody, and he's going to drop all the way down to 14th. That's a massive hit to his race hopes tonight for a top finish. Collects boosted GMC. GMC probably a little upset about that. He's into the pits now to replace that damaged front wing, missing an end plate, making contact with Night Shrimp after he lost it. Boys, we saw Night Shrimp struggle through that the last time. Looks like he may have got the setup wrong. Would you not agree, Venom?
Didn't hear what you said there, but his Shrimp does not appear to have any damage, so he's probably just going to continue on here.
Yeah, Shrimp continuing on again. The unfortunate misfortune, if you want to say that way, boosted GMC into the pits with wing damage. And we see SF now making his way up to the back of the gearbox of Money Hustard in the Racing Point or the Tracing Point or the Pink Mercatus, whatever you guys want to call it. Money off to a decent start. He's made up a little bit of time on Money Hustard, but it looks like SF is going to have a bit more pace tonight. It looks like Father Corn picks up a 3-second penalty. He's sitting down in 5th right now.
It really looks like here that SF has got the money set up for the white right here. As he's making up places, he's already up 2, and he's currently hounding money right now, so we'll see if he makes a move onto this straight after this chicane here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to add on to, to add on to what Venom said earlier, I see Brownie Man in the up in fourth, and he's actually doing a really good race himself. If he can close that gap to SF, he could probably be battling for second or even first at some point.
Brownie Man, a very quick driver in the wet. Both of you gentlemen getting it correct. We see Get Me My Pipe go fastest with a 131.2. He's setting the pace here, and it's blistering. Money Hustard trying to defend, but still make up ground. SF maybe sacrificing a bit of time and quality to have a proper setup for the race, and it looks like it's going to pay off for him. Trying to make the move up to P2 right now. As we go down farther in the pack, we see a bit of a DRS, but no DRS in the wet. You guys know that, so my bad. But we see a bit of a train forming with Grumpy Orange, Coach, Sprightly, Quick Tongue. These guys all bunched up quickly as Night Shrimp has worked his way back up to the gearbox of Quick Tongue after his mistake in Sector 3 a couple laps ago. And we do have a Renault Roman Grosjean in the pits replacing the front wing. We didn't quite catch what happened to him. Anybody you're watching down here, 7th through 10th, guys?
I am currently watching Big Mr. Brown. It seems that his setup has a very loose rear end because I just watched Father Corn overtake him around the outside of turn 2 after the chicane. It appears that he is not very comfortable in that car right now.
Absolutely. Funky Cactus, anything you're seeing in these guys as they work their way through the field and hopefully make ground up to the guys in front?
Yeah, it looks like it's either your day or it's not your day. It's either one half is struggling with the rear, they're sliding out everywhere. The other half is like going on blistering pace, like SF or Get Me My Pipe.
Yeah, it looks like Grumpy is going to be holding up those guys 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th in battle, heating up there. As we go back up to the top, we see SF chasing down Money Hustler. Get Me My Pipes, it's another quick lap. Consistently pulling out a 10th to 2 tenths on Money every single lap. SF is quick, but we can see that Racing Point has a little bit less drag, probably running a little bit less wing, able to defend on SF. And without DRS, he's going to have to get that pass done on pure technicals and driver ability. What do you guys think about overtaking in the wet here with no DRS? It's already hard as it is with DRS. What are you guys looking to do, maybe gain an advantage over the guy in front of you?
I would probably look at taking different lines, say through turns 4, turns 9, maybe not turn 9, turn 10, that braking zone, maybe going a little wider or deeper to get a shorter cut up to 11, maybe catch the person going through 12 to 13, make a move there like Money did on lap 1.
And we see Roman Grosjean's retired from the session. He's calling it quits here tonight. He said, guys, I'm done, I'm wet, I'm cold, I'm tired. Not for me tonight, so he retires. Unfortunately, same goal as Quick Tongue picks up another 3-second penalty, running a bit wide there, making his way up to the backstretch, trying to make a move onto Coach. He's close. The Coach gets a bit of a better exit. Quick Tongue on overtake. Is he going to send it up the inside?
Safety car.
Safety car.
Safety car.
Looks like anybody catch what brought out the safety car?
Oh, Get Me My
Night
Pipe.
Shrimp retiring after
9.
collision.
Oh,
in
we got a
sector
bit of contact.
12.
Coach is around. Looks like Quick Tongue and him made a bit of contact. He's going to pick up a 5-second penalty running to the back of the Coach. It's not good. Coach, they're on the AstroTurf, the painted area.
Surprisingly, we have a lot of spin. It's only been 5 laps. Yeah, nearly the top 3.
Looks like we have a lot of guys already deciding to pit. It looks like Brownie Man's going to stay out, taking it probably a little bit easier on his inner tires, deciding not to come in under the safety car. Not Shrimp out. DNF lost it coming over that curb again. We saw his car was unsettled. Unfortunate for him tonight, DNF. Biggest loser so far is Boosted GMC. He picked up wing damage. He's going to be happy to see the safety car. This is going to allow him to make up that 20-second plus gap to the guy in front of him. He picked up damage with contact with Night Shrimp after he'd spun earlier. It looks like Redeemer is going to be able to catch up here.
What is unfortunate is that Roman Grosjean just called it quits. Literally not even 5 seconds, it seems like, before the safety car called out. Had he stuck with it, he might still be in this race, sitting in the middle of the pack right now.
Yeah, Venom, you bring up a good point. You never want to quite give up on your race. You just never know what's going to happen. Safety car can give you an opportunity that you thought may have been elusive prior. Funky, what are you looking for as far as keeping the tires clean under the safety car in wet conditions? It's pretty tough, would you not say?
Yeah, it's really hard to warm the tires up too, especially with all the water around. So on safety car restarts, I'd say these drivers have to keep a careful eye not to spin out. It's really easy to spin out on cold hard tires.
Yeah, got to keep the heat in the tires. Venom, what are you looking for as far as a restart? Are you going to try
I'm
to
looking
make the
for
jump on somebody?
Bronny to probably make the jump coming out that final chicane, probably holding the group up until he hits that apex and then bolting straight away. Also, just saw in Discord chat, Roman Grosjean was running a low downforce dry setup here in the wet, so that's probably where his pace has been.
And Father Korn's around under safety car conditions. He's going to drop down massively as Quick Tom picks up a 3-second penalty. Guys, you got to watch those track limits and watch the gap to the guy in front of you. We've already seen a few guys pick up some contact, collision penalties. Those are worth 5 seconds apiece. Those are certainly going to play a factor in your finishing order tonight. It looks like we have DeCoach who's into the pits. That's interesting, as well as Sprightly who's in the pits. Sprightly can merge back out. Looks like he's going to come out probably around 9th place if he can just get in front of him. So still waiting for the group in the pack to close back up behind the safety car. Big Mr. Brown making his way around. He's going to be sitting behind SF. Run down our quick order. Bronny Man up 6 positions, sitting in first, did not stop. He's on older 7-lap intermediate tires. Give me my pipe, who's been quick all night long, setting the fastest laps. He's going to be in second on fresh inners. Money in third, SF in fourth. Those guys making a place apiece. And then our biggest winner so far tonight, Big Mr. Brown in fifth. Bald Guy Racing up 5 places. Grumpy Orange up 5 places as well. And we talked about Boosted. He's getting a second chance here to kind of close back up, so he's going to appreciate the safety car tonight. And the Father Korn, the 2 Mercedes drivers, not usually used to seeing the Mercedes. Total Wolf is probably not going to be too happy with his drivers tonight, sitting in 10th and 11th. And Quick Tom up 2 places. Redeemer's out! Oh, man, no. I saw that. Redeemer losing it under wet conditions behind the safety car. Fortunate for him, DNF. He's looks like taking off the front suspension of that Mercedes. So we just talked about how unfortunate those guys were to be in the back of the pack. Redeemer probably not going to be too pleased with that.
I really hurt to see drivers going out, especially at that turn. It's just it just takes everyone's life. Pretty sad.
Bunky, you've been caught out by that corner. I've been. Venom. What does it feel like in a race when you kind of lose it, especially under safety car conditions, and you've maybe had a decent race so far?
It's very disappointing. I can attest to spinning under safety car. I spun taking too much curve at corner 2 on cold hards under safety car on Tuesday. It's a very bringing down feeling. You all of a sudden realize I just made a mistake. That can't happen again. You have to focus harder. You have to make sure you can't make those key mistakes. Losing time under safety car. Because if you don't catch back up to that pack before safety car goes, you are screwed no matter what.
Yes, so we mentioned briefly some of these guys decided to coach pick up another 3-second penalty. Keep it clean. Looks like we have a Haas moving down the order, a little bit of joshing for position here. Keep it clean, boys. You don't want to damage that front wing. Oh, the Haas spun. So we have another driver who's lost a bit of time in positions, losing it under safety car conditions. Oh, I see an M plate.
Yeah, me too.
So very interesting.
Oh no, they think it's Barney Man. The Barney Man has lost half of his wing.
Barney Man, I do not. There it is, and it does look like he's lost a big. Might have a red wing there, getting to the back of the safety car. That's going to be detrimental to his race tonight. He's sitting in first, but I imagine safety car in this lap, and he's going to have to stop and put on a new wing and probably take new enters, so that's going to drop him down the order. Yeah, you got to keep your gap, guys.
Really
well, he has the gap to the safety car, so I'm confused on how he either doesn't have a penalty for hitting the safety car or how he managed to break his wing.
Yeah, the penalty is going to be a 20-second pit lane delta plus 5 seconds or so for changing the wing. Unfortunate for him, but that's going to drop him down the order as we get set to go racing. I imagine he's going to make the dive to pit road, and that's going to get me my pipe, clean air. Who's going to make the move, guys? Anybody you're watching?
Bronny.
Bronny Man stayed out.
Bronny stayed out. I feel like he's going to be pitting this lap though, because he's already losing time in the pipe here. He's going to get overtaken in turn 1.
Pipe looking up the inside of Brawny Man. He has moved on. Gonna take a bit of a late entry there. Gets the pass done. Money Hustler around. Brawny Man pulls off to the inside. It looks like these guys, SF moving up. Big Mr. Brown. It looks like, oh, it's a little bit tight. But all the guy racing get held up there by Brawny Man as these guys try to dodge the banana boat. Oh, and a bit of contact
Red
there.
Bull.
Sprightly in the back of Brawny Man, and that's gonna put Sprightly off. Looks like he might have picked up damage. Oh no, man, that's not good. Sprightly's gonna be upset about that one.
That is definitely
Honestly,
going to the steward's room later. That is going to be going under review for that.
Are you guys surprised that Brawny Man didn't decide to come in right away?
Very much so.
Yeah, it's not good, especially as these guys make their way around in tough conditions. It always opens yourself up to having an incident that can be avoided. As we move back up to the front here, Get Me My Pipe back to doing what he was doing. Money Hustler trying to keep the gap a little bit closer, down already a second and a half to Get Me My Pipe. SF about the same. Big Mr. Brown, he's a bit of a surprise, up 5 spots. He's in 4th, and he's keeping pace with SF and that Haas. Do you guys think that Big Mr. Brown can have a good race tonight, maybe pick up a podium here?
I think he's on for it here. SF is diving into the pits right now, so he's currently now up to podium position.
Wow. So does he have broken wing here? We saw a lot of end plates and carbon flying off these cars under safety car conditions. Didn't quite catch if he got anything. Let's see here.
It looks like a drive-through here. Nope, he pulled
he has wing damage.
He has an end plate gone.
So SF off to a great start tonight. He's going to be in the pit lane, losing a lot of time to replace the front wing. That's going to move Big Mr. Brown up into P3. Bald Guy Racing P4. Grumpy, we saw pick up another time penalty, hopping the curbs in the final chicane. That's going to be tough here. The cars are opening up a gap. Funky, what are you seeing?
Something I'm looking at is a bunch of drivers who are in lower top 10 and maybe even out the points in the beginning at quality. Looks like a Big Mr. Brown and Ball Guy Racing and Grumpy Orange. All those guys are up into the top 5 positions, which is really surprising to see.
Yeah, we see that with inclement weather. It gives these guys that maybe aren't necessarily the strongest in dry conditions a chance to challenge for top finishing positions, sometimes an elusive podium. The only loser tonight that are still in the race are Boosted GMC. To no fault of his own, he got caught up in an incident earlier with 9 Shrimp. And then we saw SF and Brawny Man pick up wing damage. And those are going to be your biggest losers. Everybody else has moved up dramatically with Bald Guy Racing in the Ferrari and Grumpy and Red Bull moving up 7 positions each. As we go back up to the front, we see Money Hustler now, 2.5 down from Get Me My Pipe. Still trying to keep pace. Get Me My Pipe setting another quick lap here. And Money now opening a gap up to Big Mr. Brown, who has a gap to Ball Guy Racing. We're seeing that these gaps opening up, but we do have a close battle here for P4. If Grumpy can go side by side with Ball Guy Racing, that's going to allow Father Corn and Boosted GMC to get in there and get their elbows out. Any of these guys that you think might be able to improve their finishing position from where they're at right now, as we have a little less than 20 laps to go?
I feel like Corn or Boosted here in the middle of the bottom top 10 in this train could be looking to make moves here. They both appear to be pretty quick, especially Corn has appeared to have pace tonight, so we'll see what he does.
Father Corn, a very, very quick driver. Oh, and we see Boosted Media get out of the throttle there, a little bit of snap over steer. These guys in a train. Father Corn runs a bit wide in the gravel pit there. All Guy Racing seems to have found himself up in P4. Oh, and we see Grumpy loses the rear of the car a bit. This is going to allow Father Corn to make a move on the outside. Wow, you don't usually see that, but in the rain here at Spain, anything is possible. Grumpy losing a place there. Not going to be too happy about that, but he's fortunate to catch the car there. And this is going to allow Boosted GMC 14. I wonder how much power is running through that LS engine. Oh.
I'm sorry. I started to see someone go off.
So we see Money Hustler make a purple lap here. The track developing a dry line that's going to allow these guys to run a little bit more speed in the corners and down straights as they get better exits. As we see Grumpy on the overtake button, trying to close that gap back up to Father Corn, who made the move on him earlier.
I feel like the time glitch here. Bald Guy is not that far off of Big Mr. Brown. It's showing that he is 9 seconds back.
Yeah, Cody's always catching us sucker F1 fans out every year. We dish out our hard-earned money to get a game that's loaded with bugs and doesn't seem to get fixed until right before the new game. Bald Guy actually 2.2 seconds down from Big Mr. Brown, who's 5.5 seconds behind Money and Get Me My Pipe. Those guys setting the pace here. As we see Quick Tongue get another 3-second penalty, so he's racking them up tonight. That's going to be difficult to overcome at the end of the race, especially if he finds himself in a train, which he's currently in right now.
Yep. Something else that I'm seeing right now is Money Hustard. He's managing that gap between 2 to 1 second. Get Me My Pipe. So if Get Me My Pipe makes even a minor mistake, he could lose around 4 to 5 times just because of the rain and because Money Hustard losing behind him.
Money Hustler currently on the overtake button, has about 80% in reserve. Give Me My Pipe the same as well. Where are you guys deploying Venom, if you could tell me, the ERS on a wet track such as Spain right now? Is it just the front stretch, or are you looking for other areas to make up time with the overtake button?
I would be deploying it out of major exits, say turn 4, turn 8, turn probably 10 a little bit, probably not much. The final corner there, you're looking for points where you can put the full throttle down and just extend your gap over that short distance of straight on full power.
Funky, you're quick this year. Have you found a little bit of secret sauce that you can share with us as far as the overtake button and maybe what you're going to do in wet if you find yourself trying to overtake and make up ground on somebody?
Yeah, it's mostly just use it if you say someone comes out of the pits and they're above a second ahead of you. You can use that overtake to get in the DRS range and stay behind them for a few laps. Mostly the overtake button I'd use on if I'm battling someone for like race. I'd use it for entire lap and on the street obviously. But you also have to keep in mind that the overtake bar goes down pretty quickly.
Yeah, you don't want to be abusing the overtake button. It takes quite a bit longer to charge back up. I've been a victim of my own use before and found myself with no ERS when I needed it most. Get Me My Pipe, you bring up a good point, Funky. Does he maybe look for the undercut or overcut from Money Hustard? It looks like that might be the only way that Money can close his gap, not quite having the pace of Get Me My Pipe up front.
Yeah, exactly. Now it seems like he's probably falling off a bit. I think he could make that up again. But it also looks like they're also not using that much ERS because of the rain. They're already struggling with traction, so might as well not use the overtake button as they could spin you out.
What about the fill trims? Are you maybe running lean in certain corners, standard? Did you underfill the car? What are you guys looking for as far as fuel settings go? Race in the wet here at Spain.
Well, in wet conditions, you obviously want to probably run a lighter car, easier traction. You don't put the power down as fast. And speaking of low fuel, Money Hustler currently has a yellow gas symbol on his car. He is currently underfueled that car. He's probably running lean mixture for best traction out of corners right now, trying to keep up with Pipe.
Yeah, Money. Oh, and we see the Red Bull there. Grumpy Orange runs a bit wide, which Quick Tongue runs wide behind him, and that's going to allow Boosted GMC to make the move up the inside on the backstretch, coming into the hairpin. Is he going to be able to hold the move? Yes, he does. Quick Tongue runs a bit wide again. These guys in the back struggling for traction right now. But you're absolutely right. Thank you for noting that, Venom. Money Hustler, notorious. He likes to underfill his car. It's a decent strategy if you can manage your fuel. It allows you to have a little bit more nimble car at the start, as we see Grumpy making his way over the curves there. Having making it past, Boosted GMC making it past
The other closest battle that I'm looking at right now is Fathercorn. Fathercorn coming up to the back of Bald Guy Racing, and through the final exit of the final turn on this time, Fathercorn was closing in with a slipstream and using some overtake. Bald Guy Racing losing it a little bit because of opportunity. One other thing I noted is that Bald Guy Racing has a lot of ERS to play with, whereas Fathercorn has been burning up all of them.
Fathercorn trying to make the jump up the field there on that overtake button. It looks like it's working out for him so far. He's 2/10 off the back of the gearbox of Bald Guy Racing, who lost a bit of time A little bit of overtake. Father Korn looking like his car's a little bit more planted at this stage in the race. Let's see if he can make a move down the backstretch. Oh, Father Korn has a bit of oversteer. He's on the overtake button, as is Bald Guy Racing. Does not decide to make the move this part of the track yet. Might try to get a good run out of the final corner and take him down the front stretch. As we see the Ferrari leading the Mercedes for the first time this year. Unfortunate for in real life F1 racing. Looks like Ferrari's going to have a bit of a tough time again here this weekend at Mugello. As we see Father Korn, looks like he's going to get a better run. Car's a bit more planted. He's on the overtake button. No DRS in the wet, guys, as you guys know that. Is he going to be able to close the gap? Does not look like it. Bald Guy Racing also on the button as well. Maybe running a bit less downforce than Father Korn. As Father Korn looks a bit quicker in the corners. As I say that, he gets a bit of snap oversteer. This is going to be a heated battle, I imagine, for the rest of the race. If you're Father Korn guy, what's your strategy? What are you thinking right now as far as getting this overtake done?
I would be looking more to possibly, if he can't pass him on track because he is burning so much ERS, probably looking for a overtake through tire strategy with a overcut or undercut, depending on what Bald Guy does to try and gain track position there, or just purely putting it in rich mode, say on the main straight and putting overtake and just trying to catch him into turn 1.
Yeah, exactly what I was saying. Father Korn picking up a 3-second penalty there, runs wide. Easy to do that on that part of the track in the dry and the wet. I bet it's a bit easier, as we saw the coach go around a little bit easier. He looks like he's struggling there in the AlphaTauri, down in 10th. As Bronny Mann's making up a bit of ground on him, as is Sprightly. As we go back up, it looks like Boosted GMC is on the gearbox of Grumpy Orange, 976. These guys have been battling. Oh, Grumpy gets a little bit loose there coming out of the corner into the final few turns. Grumpy looks like he's struggling massively on these inner tires now. I'm wondering if he's battling a bit of tire wear, as Boosted GMC looks to get a bit better exit. Does not do it. He may not be close enough to get the move done this time. As we see Grumpy Orange pick up another 3-second penalty.
Sprightly has spun, going out of turn 8, has damage on his front left, and is currently struggling on the back straight here.
Yeah, Sprightly had worked his way back up to almost the back of Bronny. Was going to try to follow Bronny up through there as the coach is into the pits now, which is going to allow Bronny Man to make the move up into the final points paying position of P10. As we go back up, looks like Father Korn has lost a bit of time behind Bald Guy Racing, now just down 1.2 seconds. The only other battle on track currently is going to be Boosted GMC as he tries to close the gap up to Grumpy. He made a bit of a mistake coming in onto the front stretch, lost a bit of ground himself as well. As we see Grumpy continue to struggle with oversteer in this Red Bull. This is going to allow Boosted GMC to get a good run on the back stretch. Dirty air, again, factoring in, but looks like Grumpy's going to get a terrible run out of the corner there. As Boosted GMC's go up the inside, he does. Is he going to look to make it stick? Thinks otherwise of it, as Grumpy's going to run wide. Boosted GMC being very generous there with track space, allowing Grumpy to make his way back on the track, keeping it very fair and clean. Grumpy's just struggling, but I'm surprised Boosted GMC is not trying to take more advantage of this.
Grumpy,
make our way.
You go, Funky.
As we see Boosted GMC is on the overtake button. Sorry, Funky, I don't want to cut you off there, but it looks like Grumpy's in the grass. This is going to allow Boosted GMC to make the move up the inside, coming down the front stretch. They're side by side. Oh, he doesn't quite make it around, but it looks like Grumpy, I don't know what's going on here. It definitely looks, and Grumpy's about lost it. This is going to allow Boosted GMC to get the pass done. Surprised that Boosted GMC didn't stay on the overtake button and get the pass done sooner, but this is going to move Boosted up into 6th position, moves Grumpy down 7th. Sorry to cut you off, Funky. What were you going to say?
Exactly the thing you said. Grumpy seems to be struggling a lot. Wait, we have a yellow flag.
I mean, Sprightly's around again. Looks like he lost a bit of traction. But go ahead, Funky. Tell us.
Yeah, I think Grumpy might start to struggle more. It could be due to his tires, but I have a feeling that it might just be rough. If he's running really over speed, I have
Most of these guys on 11-lap-old intermediate tires. Do you think that's playing a factor into maybe some of the handling characteristics we're seeing in some of these cars on track right now?
It might be, but Pipe and Money have just both pitted in the front. They are both jumping onto another set of inters. I think this is going to be a full wet race here.
Full wet race. You called it, Venom. Money onto the new set of intermediates, as is Get Me My Pipe, which moves Big Mr. Brown and Bald Guy Racing up into first and second respectively, as we see Father Corn still trying to make up ground on Bald Guy Racing. The Ferrari in front of him just seems as soon as he gets close, he makes a couple mistakes, and we talked about that, Venom. You brought up a good point, and maybe it was funky, I can't remember, but if you make a mistake here in the wet, it's not just losing a tenth or two, it's almost losing half a second at a time, and that can hurt if you've worked so hard for 2-3 laps to make up that ground. As we see Get Me My Pipe and Money Hustler lucky and fortunate enough to come out in front of Boosted, GMC, and Grumpy Orange. The strategists over at Racing Point and McLaren calling the shots just right to find a gap for those guys to pit and get back on track in mostly clean air. I imagine on fresh enters they're going to be able to close up to the back of that Mercedes of Father Corn and Bald Guy Racing pretty quick. I wonder if these guys in first, second, and third, having seen the leaders pit for fresh enters, if they're going to think about pitting this lap.
I would be if I was Corn or Ball Guy right now. I would jump on those fresh inters, especially with the pace that they are gaining on Corn. I would definitely pit along with Big Mr. Brown sitting there in P1.
Big Mr. Brown making his way into the pit lane right now. Is Bald Guy Racing? He stays out. Wow, that's a tough decision to make there. But he seems confident as we see Father Corn come in. I think Father Corn's going to jump. Bald Guy Racing. We saw what Give Me My Pipe and Money Hustler were able to do on even just fresh inners and how much more pace he had. And Big Mr. Brown puts on the wet tire. I'm not sure I agree with that. What do you guys think of that? That's odd.
I think that's a pit error strategy in his multifunction display. I think that's a pit error strategy. That is something he probably did not want to do. He's probably going to be regretting that decision right now.
Father Corn coming out onto the inner. So Father Corn got it right. McLaren, we were just giving credit to for Get Me My Pipe out in time and getting it all wrong on Big Mr. Brown. I wonder if Jeff came on the radio and just kind of got it wrong, but I don't know. Track's looking like it might get a little bit wet right now. Maybe he's taking a bit of a gamble. What do you guys think? This racing line not looking as dry as it was earlier, is my opinion.
Yeah, it could be that. I feel like
Quick tongues off.
Oh yeah.
So maybe a bit of rain here through the middle part of the race as we make our way through the second half, as we see Grumpy Orange still on 13-lap-old inner tires. SF now making his way up to P5. He was having a bit of a quiet race trying to recover from his error with his broken wing. As we go back up front, we see
out.
He stayed out, which Get Me My Pipe runs a bit wide. That's going to throw off Get Me My Pipe. I don't know if Bald Guy wants to stay out. Maybe he's seen something we're not in the weather, and is maybe waiting for a better opportunity to stop. Venom, what do you think?
I currently think that Money is currently losing a bunch of time seeing behind lap tractors of Sprightly right now. He has lost at least 2 seconds here to Pipe, who's just gaining his lead and currently just catching Bald. He's going to start extending as soon as he overtakes Bald.
So we see Quick Tongue make his way into the pits for a new fresh set of enters. Even Get Me My Pipe being stuck behind Bald Guy Racing. Not making up a whole lot of time, or at least Money Hustler's not. Down 3.2 seconds behind Get Me My Pipe. Oh! And Bald Guy's off a bit. He lost traction coming out of that difficult corner uphill. Allows Get Me My Pipe to make the move pretty easy. And we're going to need to see Money Hustler make this move quickly if he has any hopes of keeping pace and keeping track of Get Me My Pipe.
Sprightly has fun at turn 8 with some damage here. He is currently going his way up to turn 9.
Sprightly having a tough time tonight. 2 lap inners just pitted. Venom, it's hard to kind of make, and it looks like he's off again. Is there ever a point as a driver that you start having such a bad race that you just don't want to do it anymore? Do you ever just want to retire?
I have
see
had
Sprightly
those
with a bit of wing
feelings.
damage.
Especially
Have you ever done
at
it?
I have not. But I have had it. Vietnam, especially, is a race that comes to mind. I pitted a lot of times, breaking my wing a lot in Sector 3 on controller is a pain to drive, but I stuck with it and it pays out. I got my first point of the season. So if you stick with it, it will reward you, but you have to keep that determination. Some drivers do give up, like Roman Grosjean did at the very early stages of this race.
Yeah, Bald Guy Racing losing out big to Father Corn, who was able to do the undercut with tremendous success. He's out on fresh inners. We did see Booster GMC pit as well as Grumpy, who picked up a 5-second penalty coming into the pits,
Corn
racking up.
making a move in turn 4.
Corn on big Mr. Brown, finally looking to get that, and he does, and he's going to go up the inside there. Great catch, Venom. I almost missed it. As we see Sprightly just talking about that, retires in the pits. He says he's done, boys. Red Bull calling it quits there. Christian Horner still has one driver in this race, P9 with Grumpy Orange, who's getting passed by Quick Tongue 69, makes a move up the inside. Grumpy's going to stay with him there, defends the inside tough, and Quick Tongue's, runs him a bit wide, it looks like. These guys going side by side in the wet. This is going to be tough. Squeezes him on the outside, and Quick Tongue's not able to get the move done, picks up a 3-second penalty, and it looks like he's going to try to send it up the inside. Not a place on the track you want to be able to try that move. Is he going to get a run down the backstretch? Quick Tongue looking. Not on the overtake button. He's going to slot back in behind Grumpy. You guys called it earlier. Grumpy struggling maybe with setup tonight. Not getting good traction out of some of these important traction zones.
Something else that I was about to say, I think SF actually fits. I was looking to call out SF, maybe going to the end, but it looks like he's coming to probably the last one. Top as in body line. Big Mr. Brown.
Big Mr. Brown on the wet tire. Maybe in air, maybe by design. We're not sure. We'll have to maybe ask him after the race concludes in Discord. But he seems to be holding his own there. But Father Corn definitely having the quicker pace, made his way around. And it looks like Bald Guy Racing going to try to make up some time to Big Mr. Brown now. Bit of a train formed behind these guys with Brawny Man, who's worked his way back up to 6. He's going to have to stop. It looks like about 12 to 14 laps is the tire range on the inners here. Boosted GMC not far behind him, as is SF. We're coming to the final 11, 10 laps or so of this race, guys. What are you looking for? Who's the driver that you think is going to maybe make the most impact and make the most of this wet race here at the end?
I'm thinking the two Hasses right now, staying at the back of the train. They both have appeared to have some good pace, especially SF here tonight. I think he's going to be looking to make some moves here in the late stages of the race.
Quick Tongue, don't want to cut you off there, Venom. Locked down the backstretch. It looked like a bit of rally drifting. This is not dirt, the game, but it looks like Quick Tongue
just
reset the track. Yikes,
That's going to
don't
be
want
an
to be
instant
doing that.
penalty.
Yikes, but Quick Tongue resetting the track there. Lost a tremendous amount of time. He was trying to make the move on Grumpy. I was watching it the last lap or so. Unfortunate for him, but then again, don't want to be resetting the track.
Brawny
this-
has hit.
Ronnie's in. And he's into the pits. He finally called it quits on those wet tires, guys. Unfortunately, they were not working out for him. He's coming in for enters, so that's unfortunate because he had such a good race going for himself.
What actually we're saying, like, who to keep an eye on? Father Corn. He's up into 3rd place after a pretty terrible start. Safety car going down to the back of the grid. He's doing a really good
Driver of the day, you guys heard it. Funky calling Father Corn out for driver of the day. He's had a tremendous drive. Now 18 seconds adrift of Money Hustard, who's sitting P2. Still in that 2 to 3 second gap to get me my pipe. Just hasn't been able to make up any time, as we see the coach pick up another 3-second time penalty. Father Corn, what are you seeing in his driving style that's allowed him to just be consistent and work his way up, Funky?
Father Corn is just basically, I guess, keeping a cool head. If I were him and I was in the back of the grid after that I would probably be fuming. But he's managed to keep a pretty cool head. I think it's because of really too. But yeah, just keep going.
I agree with you 100%. Father Corn, after the safety car, found his way towards the back of the pack after an early mistake and jostling with the guys on track. As we see the two Haas drivers, SF and Boosted GMC, it looks like SF is towing his racing partner along here. Now 2 seconds adrift to Bald Guy. Do you think, Venom, that these guys in the two Haas can make their way up to Bald Guy and make the move for P4 and 5?
I
So we might have
definitely
lost.
think they could. Especially
Yeah, it looks
SF
like-
here.
SF quick all night long, just found a bit of misfortune with Damage Wayne, trying to make his way back up to P4, get a respectable finish and results and some decent points and get out of this wet weather and get out of Spain not too bruised up. SF currently our points leader right now. What I am curious about is, let's take a look at the race director. I don't think Get Me My Pipe, he does have a penalty, and it looks like he has 2 warnings, so one more could put him 6 seconds off Money with just 2 warnings. So we might just see Money, if he could, just keep it clean and stay within 3 seconds, at least right now, where he can make a pip, Get Me My Pipe.
It's
SF
SF is
right on.
Yep.
Yeah.
currently making
SF
the move
might
going
make
down
a
to
move.
turn 1.
Oh, he's getting squeezed out to the outside, makes a move up the inside. And he's going to send it up the inside, breaks a little bit later. He's going to take the apex nicely into turn 1. SF gets a move done cleanly on Bald Guy Racing, moves himself up to P4. Now 8 seconds adrift of Father Corn as his teammate Boosted GMC makes his way around a bit of parabolica turn up there. The right-hand sweeper is Boosted GMC going to be able to make it by Bald Guy Racing. Now 4/10 off. What do you guys think? Do you think Bald Guy can hold him off?
I
Yeah,
think it's going to be a
feel
tough
that he-
challenge.
Yep.
So we're saying, yeah, it's a
But-
tough challenge. These guys similar in pace, it looks like. Go ahead, Venom.
As a quick side note here, Quick Tongue, we've been seeing has been racking up 3-second penalties. He now has over, I think, 26 seconds of penalties currently
Oh,
as
and
it
Bald-
stands right now.
And Boosted GMC shoves it up the inside of Bald Guy Racing, sends it, licks the stamp, drops it in the mailbox, and he's on now to try to keep pace with his teammates. But yes, Venom, you bring up a good point. Quick Tongue possibly facing a potential disqualification tonight. And now, even if that moves him down to P10, he wouldn't pick up any points. So a bit unfortunate if that happens. He has to keep it clean.
Going back to the driver standings, if we finish in this current standing order, Get Me My Pipe first and SF fourth, Get Me My Pipe will jump in by, I believe, only a few points, and it's looking to be a really good official driver standing.
Yeah, you read my mind, Funky. Give Me My Pipe. Only 8 points adrift of SF, but as they run right now, with SF down in 4th and Give Me My Pipe in 1st, he's going to be able to get the 25 points, and it looks like fastest lap, so 26, and get a bang-up result. Yeah, so we should see the top position swap place there. Championship battle already heating up through our first couple races here in PPR Division 4 Friday nights. As we see Give Me My Pipe still opening up that gap now over 3 seconds to Money Hustler. We talked briefly about that Give Me My Pipe, even with the time penalty, potential for Money Hustler to get first place. As we see Father Corn down in P3 as we work our way through the grid. SF able to make the move on Bald Guy Racing a couple laps ago. Now 4 seconds ahead of his teammate who made the move last lap around. Bald Guy losing a bit of time in sixth place behind 5th of Boosted GMC. Then you got to go a long way down the track to 7th of Big Mr. Brown. He made the unfortunate error. We see is that
VSC due to Grumpy spinning at turn 8.
Grumpy having a tough time tonight. I did see the Red Bull struggling there. He's going to have to come in. VSC, anybody pitting for tires here? Do you think Big Mr. Brown takes it, or you think he's? Oh, he just stayed. He just pitted, so that's wrong. Ronnie Man, maybe.
I wouldn't think he would either. I think he's going to try and look to catch Big Mr. Brown here. So if he wanted to catch him, he should probably not pit.
Yeah, Big Mr. Brown, again, as I was going to say before the VSC came out, a bit of misfortune coming into the pits with the strategy, put on a wet tire, was too slow. Looked like it might have been the right decision there for a split second. Unfortunately, he had to stop again and moves him down to 7th. We see Bronny Man 12. Looked very promising at the beginning of the race, found himself in a bit of trouble down to P8 and Quick Tongue, who's nearing probably a disqualification for time penalties and penalties of the such down in P9, and Grumpy, who's going to pit for a wing replacement in P10. We have just a handful of laps left. Money Hustard is going to pick up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. That's unfortunate.
Oh, no.
That's going to move him down the order. He's going to have to stop. He makes the decision to stop now, but this is going to allow Father Corn, who's drifting now, to maybe make up some time here. Pit lane delta in the dry is about 20 seconds here. Maybe Father Corn's going to be within a... Go ahead.
I think it's a drive-through, so it's going to be around maybe 17, 16 seconds. I think Money After could jump Father Corn here, if he gets out in time.
Money Hustler making his way out of the pits right now, on the overtake button, struggling for traction as we see Father Corn. He's going to come flying down the pit lane, and you called it, Funky. Not quite getting the time gap he needs, but it does allow Father Corn to now see that racing point and be the carrot dangling in front of him, if you will. Now just down 4.3 seconds. But that sucks for Money Hustler. He had a tremendous race all night long here. Was possibly maybe looking for P1 on penalties. Now 20 seconds adrift of Get Me My Pipe. Now the gaps. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying that direction, like Get Me My Pipe, like Lewis Hamilton pulling out that huge gap.
Get Me My Pipe channeling his... Oh, go ahead.
Pipe has been in a whole nother world tonight. He has looked flawless except for his 1 3-second time penalty that occurred.
Yeah, Get Me My Pipe, other than the time penalties on 3 stops, just had a couple warnings and a time penalty, but looking at his lap times, I mean, you're absolutely right, Venom. A very consistent all night long, the 130s by a couple tenths, a couple 129s. And that's what we talked about. Maybe not being the fastest driver, but the most consistent is going to be the one that picks up the best result tonight. As we see, Grumpy is around, loses it in the penultimate corner, right in front of Money Hustard. His night continues to be troubling and continues to struggle here. A bit unfortunate for him. He's probably a bit frustrated with just 4 laps to go. Now on board with Bronny Man, 5.5 seconds down from Big Mr. Brown. Both on the same lap wear. Intermediates now 5 laps old, not making up any time here. The gap's opening up quite a bit as the race comes to a bit of a conclusion here. Just 4 laps left as Get Me My Pipe's going to be making his way around Sector 3. This is going to be a huge boost of confidence, and like we talked about earlier, when it comes to the Drivers' Championship standings here in Division 4 for PPR, Get Me My Pipe just doing a bang-up masterclass job here tonight. Very few mistakes, consistent, making his way through the final chicane to make his way around the last few laps. Do you think any of these guys possibly stop for a fresh set of enters, maybe go for fastest lap?
The only driver I would consider actually doing that would probably be Pipe, since he has that ginormously, but if he does that, he may risk becoming back into the graphs of Money with that penalty as moving over his head.
Absolutely right. Oh, we see Father Corn struggling for a bit of traction, not making up any ground on Money Hustard. Gap still about 4.5 seconds. SF making a little bit of ground up. You can see the back of that Red Bull. Grumpy Orange a lap down now. SF, do you think he can get the job done in the sense of getting on the podium and working his way back up? I believe Father Corn has a bit of penalties. You checked that for us, man. What do you have to say about that?
I have not checked for, I think Corn has at least 1 3-second, while SF has none. I will currently check for you right now.
So seeing Father Corn with 2 penalties that might play out to about 6 seconds. SF keeping it pretty clean all night long. Just 1 warning. That's pretty impressive. I have to give the Haas driver credit there of keeping the car between white lines. He's currently down 2.5 seconds, so he may be able to just get Father Corn On time penalties,
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily need to make the move on track. Go ahead, Venom.
Corn has 6 seconds of penalties currently. I do not see any for SF.
So there you go. There you guys have it. SF just needs to keep it clean and keep it within 3 to 6 seconds of Father Corn, and he's going to be on the podium tonight. Big Mr. Brown picking up a 3-second penalty there. Monkey, what do you have to share with us here? Any final thoughts before we take the last lap?
I actually want to go back to SF. Another thing that, well, not really a lot of people know is that he runs no assist as well. So it's a really good drive from him, managing to keep that car in the limits of, the round, shadow round, without getting into. Oh, and he took the fastest lap of the race too.
Fastest lap of the race. No assist. SF doing a bang-up job here tonight with a bit of a recovery drive. Maybe misfortune under the safety car picking up wing damage. Venom, do you think he's going to want to do this move on track just in principle, or do you think he's going to hold back, thinking about the championship in the back of his head?
I would on track just stay behind Corn. He knows he's got the position. There's no reach and make a risky move and currently shoot him out of that podium position with that championship, as you mentioned, in mind.
SF looking to close out his night. Venom, I think if you're right, you got to go buy a lotto ticket, but pretty easy call on your end. I agree with you. I don't think SF risks anything. I think he just hangs back, keeps it clean like he's been doing all night long, and takes P3 on time penalties. I'm a bit stubborn. I'm a bit prideful. I think I would try to make the move. We see Father Corn lose a bit of the rear end of the car there, coming around the hairpin. But as I was saying, I think I would make the move on track as we see Get Me My Pipe begin the final lap of the Spanish Grand Prix. Here in the wet, 33 laps. These guys are probably exhausted. Some of them on a wheel, some on a controller. But Get Me My Pipe, he, despite the time penalties, has been the class of the field all night long. He makes his way through the end of Sector 1. Money Hustler down 20 seconds. Father Corn not able to close up the gap. SF now just hanging back behind him. Boosted GMC onto the front stretch. He's worked his way back up to P5 with Bald Guy Racing, not too far behind him, 5 seconds adrift. Big Mr. Brown rounds out in 7th with Bronny Man in 8th. Corn has lost. Oh no, Corny. He pulls out in front of the Red Bull there, and he's going to lose it. Position to boost the GMC, and that's moving Father Corn down to P5. Oh, Corny, be careful, be careful. We got the Red Bull around as well. That's unfortunate for Father Corn. He was on for at least the 4th place position, but Boosted GMC might have penalties. As we see Get Me My Pipe, he's going to make it around here. He's going through Sector 3, a bit of action behind him, but he's in the clear. So we see Grumpy Orange struggling again himself. Get Me My Pipe through the final chicane. This guy is quick, ladies and gentlemen, as he's going to win our race here on PPR for Division 4 here at the Spanish Grand Prix, and across the line. What a bang-up job by the McLaren driver. Money Hustard now making his way. Absolute masterclass. Venom, you called it. Money Hustard coming through the final chicane. Bit of misfortune on his end with the speeding under the VSC. Really pushing, though, to try to make up a gap on Get Me My Pipe. He's going to cross the line on the overtake button. P2. Nice result by the Racing Point driver. Venom, if you want to take us through the bottom half of the field here. SF across the line for P3.
Boosted P4, Corn P5 with Bald P6. We're going to see how penalties play out here with Quick Ton having a bunch of penalties. With Grumpy being +1 lap, I would probably say this is probably going to be very good for the final 5 positions.
You see Bald Guy Racing cross the line. Some of these guys have time penalties. We're watching that. And Big Mr. Brown's not able to jump him. Bronny Man does not look like we're waiting for him. He's across the line in P8. Does not improve. We know Quick Tongue just wants to get across the line. These guys at the bottom here struggled all night long as we close out the results here. But the top 10 going to be able to make it across the line for points. Quick Tongue avoiding that disqualification that we talked about. But man, what a race by Get Me My Pipe. You guys, I'm impressed. It looks like Grumpy retired from the session, just spinning out there. But Get Me My Pipe with a P1 result tonight. That's going to allow him to move to first place in the driver's standings. It's heating up here in Division 4. Venom, you brought up a good point. We didn't talk about it, but a bit of a mix between the divisions here with the drivers. Did you see what you expected to see there as far as that dynamic goes?
I did kind of see what I thought. Money was at the front pushing, trying to get Pipe, but Pipe, currently being a D4 driver, has the pace to appear to be a D2 driver.
Oh, so you think we should move him up? Is what you're saying?
100%.
So get me my
Very,
pipe, ruffling the feathers of the commentator booth up here. Maybe making a bid for an increase or a bump up in the divisions. But as you can see, guys, final results here for the Spanish Grand Prix circuit, the Barcelona, Catalunya. A bit of a tough race for these guys in the wet here. As you can see, the first two drivers picking up a 3-second penalty. Down in third, SF, 1776. Boosted GMC, the two Haas drivers getting tremendous points. That's going to help their bid in the Constructors' Championship. They're currently in first, and they continue to add to their lead here. Father Corn, bit of misfortune there. P5, lost it coming onto that final lap. Bald Guy Racing, P6. Big Mr. Brown in 7th. Brownie Man in 8th. Quick Tongue, 69 in 9th. And the Grumpy Orange in the Red Bull rounds out your top 10. Whew. Can we get these guys in here? I think we got Money Hustard in the party. Money, when the time is right, let's go ahead and get your audio. Oh no interviews. My bad. So looks like that's going to conclude our race tonight, guys. Join us again next week as PPR brings the action again.
Sorry to say, but we are doing interviews.
Oh, we are?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm
You are doing interviews
or not.
I can't read. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it said interviews.
Oh, I missed that, guys. My bad. If we can get these drivers in here, SF.
One final comment I'd like to make, not to toot my own horn, but I was correct about the Hasses making up positions for the back of that train. They did improve my point. They had incredible pace in that wet weather.
Yep, I was impressed. Can we get me my pipe in here? Is he in here by chance?
Yeah. I'll be with them in a sec.
Oh, he might not have
Pipe
a mic.
should have a mic.
If we can get our podium drivers, Money and SF, include your audio.
Yeah.
We are looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about today's wet race.
It was definitely a tough one.
I don't have Get Me My Pipe on my friends list.
I have Pipe on my friends list. I have invited him to the party.
All right, as we wait for our race winner to possibly join us tonight, I'm going to turn it over to Funky. Let's go ahead and start interviews. We'll start down in P3 with SF. Go ahead, take it away for us, Funky.
So SF P3, really good drive, especially with your wing damage near the start. How to feel to cut back to the field, to the mid to end part of the race?
I just kind of threw the strategy out the window and just started putting in really quick laps, and it paid off for me somehow. Usually I hate Barcelona, but I've been pretty good in the wet this year, so I was able to put in some good laps and actually have a really good finish.
When you dropped to the back of the grid, did you lose your temper? Did you keep a calm head? Were you like, stressed or not? What was your mindset?
Oh, I'm a pretty hot-headed guy, so I didn't have anything to say. That was too pleasant, but yeah, I kept it cool. I didn't have any penalties all race. Just kept it on track and just kept going, and luckily it turned into a podium.
Alright, man, great race. See you next week for Monaco.
All right, thank you, man.
Nice race, SF. Venom, if you want to take it away and get with our second place position driver, Money Hustard, fantastic race on your end.
Yeah, Money, fantastic race. I have a question. What was your mindset when you saw that notification for the VSC drive-through penalty?
Oh, that was pretty tough. It was ending as I was coming out of that long right-hander, so I was the turn before the chicane, so it was probably the slowest point in the entire track, and it came up, and I just didn't slow down enough. That's why I really slowed the track, and then with VSC, it was lower, I guess.
All right, and it looks like
Basically,
you were
me
on
being
top of
stopped wasn't enough.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It looks like all race, you looks like you had your pace and strategy all under control. Looks like you're matching Pipe pace for pace, except he kept pimping you a couple tenths here and there, but you kept clawing him back. What was your efforts to try and catch up Pipe? Because he seemed to be having you at 2 seconds consistently almost all race.
Yeah, he had me in the last game real well. I've never been good in that chicane. Last game, this game, dry, wet, doesn't matter. I've always had issues with that. So I was always able to gain on him through the whole lap, and then that last chicane, it seemed like he always got 2 tenths on me there. So it was a real bummer. I thought I was keeping pace with him for the most part. When I got that penalty, I was about 35 to 37, or sorry, 3.5 to 3.7 seconds back behind him. I knew that 3 second penalty, so all I was going for was that 3 seconds. It would have been real close if I didn't get that drive through, but
All right. Well, that's all I got for
Ma-
money. Thank you for your. Do you have a question, Funky, or Fax?
I have a question for Funky, excuse me, Money. We lost SF there, but next week at Monaco, are you looking forward to it? Are
not at
you
all.
concerned? Not at all.
I am actually. Definitely when it comes to D2, as I talked to you about, even with UFR, definitely don't have the most outright raw pace, but I feel like my consistency is there. I know in Vietnam I was able to get through it without picking up any damage, so if I can just get through without damage, I think I put myself in a good spot to get some good points.
Awesome. So that concludes our podium finishes. Unfortunately, we don't have Get Me My Pipe in here. He was our race winner tonight, had tremendous pace. A bit of an error with just a minor time penalty, but these drivers probably happy